What's up, Green Bay Packers fans? Welcome back, and as always, thank you for joining me. My name's Paul Brettel. Today, we're here to discuss my three big things before the Green Bay Packers take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday afternoon. But first, hit like on the video, hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. I do greatly appreciate it. As always, you can find all of my work over at Packers Wire, and you can follow me on Twitter at Paul_Brettel. So, like I said, and this is in an article version over at Packers Wire, you can find, or we're going to dive into my three big things for today's upcoming matchup. Let's start up front. Vita Vea of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So he was listed as doubtful on Friday with a toe injury. That same injury did keep him out a week ago against the Atlanta Falcons, but on Saturday, he was upgraded to questionable. So we still do not know whether or not he's going to be on the field on Sunday, but he seems to be trending in the right direction. And Matt LaFleur said it best. He is a monster. Vita Vea is listed at 6'4", 347 pounds, and while that size, his abilities, a lot of the damage that he does is done in the run game. For that size, he does an excellent job of getting after the quarterback as well. He's generated 25 pressures, 6 sacks this season out of 132 interior defensive linemen. These numbers are from Pro Football Focus. Vita Vea ranks 38th in pass rush win rate and 21st in run stop rate. Run game, pass game, he is a force that the Packers are going to have to contend with. And to show his impact as a team, the Buccaneers front seven, the defense as a whole has been very stout against the run. They're allowing just 3.9 yards per carry on the season, but when Vita Vea is on the field, they're allowing just 3.2. So getting close to a full yard better against the run when he's on the field, again, just goes to show his impact. And the Packers are coming off a game against the New York Giants where Dexter Lawrence in the middle, another high caliber interior defensive lineman, gave this group fits. Josh Myers, Elton Jenkins, John Runyon, that entire interior offensive line really did struggle with Dexter Lawrence this past Monday night, and Vita Vea absolutely has the ability to provide the same issues for the Green Bay Packers. And when you have someone in the middle of Vea's caliber, everybody on that defense benefits. The best way to disrupt a play, run or pass, is with a quick push up the middle, which Vea obviously can generate. And when you have someone, his presence in the middle, it leads to better opportunities for others along the defensive front. It keeps the linebackers clean in the run game. Obviously, when you're getting after the quarterback, that's less time that the secondary, the defensive backs have to be in coverage. So when Vita Vea is out there, everybody on that Bucs defense is better off because of it. So again, he's questionable for this game with a toe injury. He upgraded from doubtful, so trending in the right direction, but we'll see if he's out there or not. But if he is, that just makes this what is already, I think, at least on paper, a very difficult matchup overall for this Green Bay Packers team going up against Tampa Bay, a lot more challenging. Next up, Packers passing game. I alluded to this a little bit during the last video discussing the Packers final injury report, but I think the passing game is absolutely going to have to shoulder the workload today. We just mentioned that the Buccaneers front seven, especially with Vea in there, really stout, really good against defending the run. I had on top of that the injuries and unknown at the running back position. A.J. Dillon, questionable. Aaron Jones, questionable. The Packers did elevate Kenyon Drake from the practice squad for today's matchup, which tells us that probably either Jones or Dillon aren't going to play. Based on how the week leading up to today has gone, it feels like Jones is trending in the right direction. He said on confident he's going to be out on the field today. So something to monitor, but nonetheless, a really good run defense. Injuries at the running back position. Packers, again, might be without Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon. And even if Aaron Jones is on the field, for example, what's his workload going to look like? This is going to be his first game back since week 11. Typically, and not just with Jones, but with players in general coming off injury, Packers don't always, fully immerse them into a full workload. There might be an easing in process, which could mean more opportunities for Patrick Taylor, more opportunities for Kenyon Drake. So definitely something to keep our eyes on. But nonetheless, you take all of that, and running the ball could absolutely be a challenge today. However, on the flip side, where this Bucs defense has been susceptible is in the passing game. They're allowing 7.2 yards per pass attempt this season. That's the fourth most in football. They've allowed the second most explosive plays or pass plays of 20 or more yards this season. Like, that's where the opportunity lies for opposing offenses this season. Now, having said that, there's still definitely talent at the linebacker position. Devin White, Levante David, Antonio Winfield, or excuse me, Antoine Winfield at the safety position. The do it all type of player. You name it, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ask him to do it. He's one of the best blitzing safeties, one of the best run defense safeties. He's been one of the best at forcing incompletions at the safety position. And this is a physical group of cornerbacks. Samori Toure earlier in the week compared them to the New Orleans Saints. So rewind back to week 3, I'm sure many remember just the physicality that the Saints brought, playing up close on the Green Bay receivers at the line of scrimmage, getting their hands on them, being physical, being aggressive. So that's the type of matchup that the Packers receivers are in store for. And Toure said when you're going up against a group that plays like that, half the battle is being prepared for it and knowing it's coming and how to react to it. And at this stage of the season, compared to the early going, Packers receivers are much more prepared just from experience alone to handle that style of defense. We saw it last season early on with Watson and Dobbs. We saw it this season with the Packers rookies. Like that physicality when teams bring that, there's a definite learning curve that comes with that for rookies or young receivers in the NFL. But again, from an experience standpoint, Packers are better equipped now to handle that style of defense. This is also a Bucs defense that blitzes heavily, second highest blitz rate in football, and that's something the Packers have seen a lot recently. The Kansas City Chiefs, LA Chargers, New York Giants all blitz the Green Bay Packers quite a bit. And Sean Ryan said there's a bit of comfortability in that uncomfortability because they are seeing it so consistently. And while each defense obviously has its own flavor in terms of how they go about blitzing, from week to week to week, there also is a lot of carryover. So that heavy blitz approach that the Bucs have taken this season, that's nothing new for this Green Bay Packers team. So hopefully, because of that, they're going to be better equipped to handle it. And against the Chiefs, they did an excellent job. Against the Giants, they held their own as well in that regard. And again, that's going to be another key element to this game. And while the Bucs defense, again, primarily through the air, does allow opponents between the 20-yard line and the 20-yard line to move the ball fairly well to rack up yards, once opponents get inside the red zone, this is a very, very good Bucs defense. They're 4th in red zone success rate among opposing offenses this season. And when Adam Stenavich was asked, what is it that Tampa does so well in that area, it's twofold. One, they're really good against the run. And Matt LaFleur talking about the Packers' own red zone, in this case, struggles this season on offense. He brought up the run game being one of the reasons why the Packers have been inconsistent inside the 20-yard line. When you don't have a run game to lean on when you're in the red zone, throwing the ball is already more challenging. You're in a condensed space. There's more defenders in a smaller part of the field, which there's less space to operate within. And especially if the defense knows the pass play is coming, innately it's just more challenging to move the ball through the air. So as we talked about, Vita Vea, Bucs defense as a whole, very good at defending the run, forcing the offense to throw the ball. Second part that Stenavich mentioned is that the cornerbacks, the safeties all do a really, really good job of working well together to funnel everything in the passing game back towards the middle of the field. And who do you have there? Levante David, Devin White, one of the best linebacker duos in football. So Green Bay Packers, based on how this season has unfolded, both for them and the Bucs defense, they should or could have their scoring opportunities today being in the red zone. But the big question is, can they capitalize on it? Can they take advantage of those situations? Green Bay's been very good about getting into the red zone this season, but they rank in the bottom third of the NFL in red zone success rate. So big part of the game, as always, is red zone success, but going to be a key element today against the Tampa Bay Bucs. And like I said, I think the Packers are going to have to come out swinging in the passing game against Tampa Bay. Last up of my 3 big things, getting after Baker Mayfield. We all know against the New York Giants, Packers, while they were able to get after Tommy DeVito, get him off his spot, there was a breakdown in the pass rush, created huge running lanes, escape alleys for Tommy DeVito to get out of the pocket, extend plays, buy time, and that was a key aspect into why the Green Bay Packers ended up losing that game. This is going to be the 3rd year in a row the Green Bay Packers have faced Baker Mayfield with 3 different teams as well. In the previous 2 matchups, when he was with Cleveland and with the Rams, he's thrown 5 interceptions. 4 of those did come in the Cleveland game. This season, he has been better about taking care of the football. He has 8 interceptions coming into week 15. That ranks 16th in the NFL. However, he is ninth in turnover worthy plays, according to Pro Football Focus. So opportunities for interceptions have been there for opposing defenses. The Tampa Bay offensive line has, for the most part, held up well. In pass protection this season, according to Pro Football Focus, Baker Mayfield's been pressured on 36% of his dropbacks. That's right in the middle of the pack this season in terms of how often a quarterback has been under duress. However, when he is facing pressure, he ranks 24th in completion rate. So getting after Mayfield lowers the completion rate. Of course, we all know that when you generate pressure on a quarterback. But in comparison, I mean, to the rest of the NFL when under duress, he does rank towards the bottom of that pack. And as just mentioned, he's towards the top in terms of turnover worthy plays this season. And of course, when you're generating pressure on a quarterback, makes the offense one dimensional, limits their opportunities to extend drives, disrupts the rhythm, the timing, gets the quarterback off his spot. We all know there's this massive, massive positive trickle down effect to the rest of the defense when a defensive front is able to get pressure on the quarterback, and hopefully, in the Packers' case, able to convert some of those pressure opportunities into sacks. On the flip side of that, if Baker Mayfield has consistent time in the pocket, he has Mike Evans to throw to. Chris Godwin, who's listed as questionable, it's been reported by ESPN's Jeremy Fowler that he is expected to play today. So again, those are going to be key. Getting after Baker Mayfield obviously going to be key, because if you give him too much time in the pocket, staying on Evans, staying on Chris Godwin for that long, that is a very, very tall task for any cornerback group. Lastly, when it comes to turnovers, the turnover battle specifically, that has dictated the game for the Green Bay Packers this season. When they win the turnover battle, they're 4-1 this year. When they lose it, they're 1-5. When they split it, they're 1-1. So basically, you can look at that column as the game is unfolding and have a good idea based on how the season's gone up to this point in terms of how that game's going to end. So have to get after Baker Mayfield, can't give him time to go find Mike Evans, and hopefully if you are able to generate pressure, allows you the opportunity to create some turnovers as well. Before I wrap up, I want to bounce back to the Packers pass game. One other aspect of this that I do want to touch on. The Buccaneers have against opposing tight ends against the Buccaneers have found success this season. On average, tight ends are catching 6 of 9 passes for 60 yards against Tampa Bay. All 3 of those numbers, the 6, the 9 targets, and the 60 yards, all ranked top 5 in the NFL for tight ends on a per game basis against every NFL team. So Tucker Kraft, opportunity for him to go from being a contributor to this offense to perhaps being a focal point. And since stepping into that tight end one role, he's obviously become a larger part of the passing game. He's caught 9 of 11 passes over the last 3 games, and he's been one of the best tight ends in the NFL in picking up yards after the catch. And that was his calling card at South Dakota State. We also saw against the Giants the ability to stretch the field a little bit as well. So keep your eyes on Tucker Kraft along with the Packers receivers. Again, passing game going to have to be a big part of this offense's success against Tampa Bay, if they're going to be able to move the ball, if they're going to be able to put up points. So there you have it, my friends. Those are my 3 big things for the Green Bay Packers ahead of their matchup with Tampa Bay. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. Hit like on the video, hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate it. You can find all my